Live from our 7 Tasmania studios, your nightly news with Kim Miller begins now.
Good evening. First tonight, a driver killed competing in TARGA, Tasmania yesterday has been named as 59-year-old Anthony Seymour. The Queenslander is the 4th competitor to die in the past 2 years, forcing organisers to cancel racing for the remainder of this year's event. Officials say they couldn't have done any more to prevent a tragedy like this, but admit the future for TARGA Tasmania is now uncertain.
Debris litters the roadside in the aftermath of another TARGA fatality.
It's just hard to talk right now, to be honest. We're totally devastated.
The driver, Tony Seymour, a 59-year-old experienced TARGA racer from Brisbane. Mid-stage, his Lotus Exige left Oliver's Road at Mount Roland and drove off an embankment. Sandra, his partner in the car and in life, walked away without serious injuries, but was kept in the LGH overnight for observation.
This is, just shattering news for everybody. We're a very close-knit community. Whilst we're a massive group of people, everybody knows everyone.
The treacherous road that snakes around Mount Roland is regularly used in TARGA.
I'm being told that it was wet, but it wasn't particularly raining at the time, just wet roads.
The car was one of the final few to start yesterday's last stage. Authorities were alerted when the car's rally-safe device was triggered by the crash. Retrieving the car was no easy task for authorities who worked late into the night. It came to rest on these trees, which are still carrying the scars of the crash, and you can see just how steep this ravine is. At 11:30 last night, the call was made to cancel the competition side of the event, continuing on as a closed road tour only, with speed limits in place. The organisation says it needs to determine what went wrong before racing can continue. Though some have withdrawn, most competitors chose to carry on.
Giving them the option to at least go out and enjoy their cars, which a lot have gone and actually done that. They're all going out to St Helens, having lunch and spending their money.
This fatality following 3 deaths in last year's edition. A Motorsport Australia tribunal made 23 recommendations, and pre-event, organisers were spruiking new rule changes to improve safety.
A lot of work went into making sure that this event was not only complying with those recommendations but was as safe as possible.
The sporting body says the circumstances of this crash aren't yet clear. Data from the rally-safe device will be analysed. But until the dust settles, the event's future hangs in the balance.
We don't know what the future is. You can ask us all day today what the future looks like. We actually have no idea.
Josh Duggan, 7 Tasmania News.
The dire position of those looking to rent in the state has been revealed in a new report. It's claimed there were just 2 rentals that were affordable for low-income earners last month. Social services calling for more homes to be built as people languish on the housing wait list.
ANGLICARE deals with Tasmanians facing housing stress every day, but their latest study of rental affordability has painted a bleak snapshot of a system in crisis.
The parents might both be on a Centrelink benefit. They've got teenage boys. They feed the boys before they feed themselves because of the cost of housing. So it's the real stories that we see on a day-to-day basis.
In March, there were 714 rentals listed across the state, but ANGLICARE says only 2 were accessible to applicants on low incomes.
We've got people that are desperate for housing, families, young people, and they just cannot access the requirements of the housing market.
TASCOS says rental affordability has only got worse since the Liberals came to power.
What we know is that since 2014, the number of rental properties across Tasmania has halved, and right now only 2% of those properties would be affordable for somebody living on a very low income.
It's calling for the state government to build more affordable homes as 4,500 people languish on the housing register.
What's important to me is that our investments continue in terms of our $1.5 billion commitment, 10,000 homes over the next 10 years.
What we've seen from this government time and time again over the last 8 years is promises made that they fail to deliver on every single time.
Social services say one immediate measure to address the increasing cost of living is raising the rate of job seeker, but so far neither of the major parties have made that commitment during the election campaign.
We need to see an increase of a minimum of $70 a day so that people can afford the basics.
With the cost of living not getting any cheaper, the next elected government will have a tough task ahead. Ainsley Kosh, 7 Tasmania News.
Well, Scott Morrison has used his visit to Tasmania to pledge funds for the Near Star smelter. The federal government will commit $50 million and the state will chip in $20 to go towards a $400 million expansion project at the facility. A new electrolysis plant will address safety and environmental issues and improve production capacity. 600 staff and site contractors work at the Hobart plant. Well, a Launceston father and his 2 children have been rescued after spending a cold and wet night stranded near Meander Falls. The trio lost its way along the Split Rock track circuit yesterday afternoon, calling 000 to alert emergency services. A search operation involving 13 people eventually found the family just before 3 this morning. They were treated for mild hypothermia but otherwise okay. And a 67-year-old Lefroy man has been rescued from his yacht after being caught in wild seas off the east coast. He ran into trouble just after 10 last night, activating a distress beacon near Seymour. The rough conditions hampered 2 attempts to rescue the man. He was pulled from his vessel on the 3rd try around 3 a.m. A 58-year-old York Plains man has been charged with animal cruelty offences after allegedly shaving a sheep with a chainsaw. A video of the incident was posted to social media a fortnight ago, sparking outrage from activists. The man will appear in the Hobart Magistrates Court at a later date. The daily COVID caseload has again spiked above 1,000 as Tasmania prepares to phase out isolation rules for close contacts in the coming days. Just over 1,200 new infections were recorded overnight. 40 people remain in hospital with the virus and 1 patient is in ICU. Scott Roth has taken home the top coaching accolade at the NBL's Night of Nights in another important win for the Jack Jumpers. The leader was recognised for his role in the side's successful inaugural season as it prepares for Game 1 of the semi-finals.
A gentle giant with a fiery courtside demeanour, Tasmania's man of the moment is officially Coach of the Year.
Scott Roth from the Tasmania Jack Jumpers.
Tasmania exceeded all expectations in its inaugural season.
It's very humbling and really I get to stand in front of all this stuff, but there's so much work going on behind the scenes with my coaching staff that's been amazing and really been the driving force of this whole year.
He adds this latest triumph to a long list of career highlights, the state's basketball fraternity, in awe of what Roth has achieved in such a short time.
He's just done an amazing job putting that team firstly on the floor, but then also to get a new team franchise into the playoffs is something that is rarely done in any sports.
Josh Adams' star acts on court were also recognised, averaging 16.6 points a game. He was named in the All-NBL second team.
From a long way out, Josh Adams.
Fan favourite McVeigh also acknowledged for his work in the community.
Congratulations to the man that's always smiling, Jack McVeigh.
The wait is nearly over for the Jack Jumpers to step out on court in their debut finals appearance. With excitement building, the iconic mascot was out revving up fans ahead of tip-off.
There we are, my friend.
Here you go. Hundreds of people will gather at live viewing parties across the state tonight to watch all the action unfold. Wrest Point will host crowds here in the south, while Launceston's Country Club welcomes fans in the north from 7 o'clock.
I know the boys are going to give it, the Tassie boys are going to give it their best. And we've got a huge screen, a great sound system, so it's going to be a fantastic atmosphere, no doubt.
We have nothing to lose and everything to gain, and we'll just go play as hard as we possibly can.
Grace Evans, 7 Tasmania News.
The Sorell Ambulance Station has been given a much-needed boost with 4 additional full-time paramedics to join its ranks.
The 4 new full-time paramedics will mean that Sorell will now be staffed by fully qualified paramedic crew 24 hours a day and 7 days a week.
It comes as Ambulance Tasmania was forced to apologise to staff after confidential information was handed to executives following a resilience survey conducted in September last year.
To share the information with us unfiltered. We work with them to interpret it because, as I said, they're experts in that, but we wanted to see the stories exactly as they were presented by our staff.
The state government is building 6 new stations across the state, including 2 super stations in Glenorchy and Burnie. Tasmanian disability advocates have taken to the streets for a national day of action, protesting funding cuts to the NDIS. The local community joined thousands across the country participating in the action. There are calls to address the issue they say is leaving vulnerable people without critical supports.
There are many people who are not getting what they need. They're not able to get access to the NDIS, or they get in and they can't get the support in the plan that they need. So it needs some fixing.
At the moment, we're at the crossroads, and we're concerned about what's happening with people's plans.
Disability organisation Speak Out was behind today's event and will meet with federal election candidates ahead of voters heading to the polls to ensure a fair outcome can be reached. Golf Australia has revealed the best courses in the country, with Tasmania flooding the top 10. King Island's iconic Cape Wickham was narrowly eclipsed by Royal Melbourne for top spot. Barnboogle's Dunes and Lost Farm followed closely in third and fourth, while its newest short course, Boogle Run, debuted at number 38. Tasmanian workers, unions and politicians have gathered to commemorate those who have lost their lives on the job for International Workers' Memorial Day.
It's a really important day to send a message of support to families and injured workers, to let them know that they haven't been forgotten about.
Unions are hopeful the Liberals will join Labor to commit funding for a memorial park in Launceston during the election campaign. The UK offices of new Bell Bay smelter owner Sanjeev Gupta have been raided as part of a money laundering investigation. Serious fraud teams search Gupta's offices in England, Scotland and Wales, seizing a number of company documents. GFG Alliance insists there is no impact to the Tasmanian business, as its Australian operations are separate from its troubles in Europe.
Tasmanian teenager Jackson Callow is set to make his AFL debut for the Hawks at the MCG this Saturday. The 19-year-old will face no tougher introduction to the top league than against the undefeated D's. Callow was recruited by Hawthorn in last year's mid-season draft after a TSL premiership with North Launceston and a short stint in the SANFL. Hawks head of football Rob McCartney said Callow's opportunity is well earned. To the TSL, where another nasty head knock has cast major doubt over the playing future of a North Launceston star. Co-captain Ben Simpson has been ruled out indefinitely after suffering a concussion in the loss to Launceston a fortnight ago. The young bomber has been wearing a head guard this season after a number of head injuries, but his coach says the issue is now too big to ignore.
He's been struggling at work and he's had to take days off work and stuff like that, which is what we don't want. He's only 20 years old, so he's got a long life ahead of him, so we're concerned about his overall health, and football's not a priority at the moment.
This Saturday at UTAS Stadium, the Bombers will take on North Hobart, who are looking to rebound after a 19-point Anzac Day loss to Lauderdale.
Yeah, looking forward to getting on a really big ground as well. I think we can play the bigger ground well with our leg speed.
Match kicks off at 1 o'clock. Tassie seamer Jackson Bird has suffered another setback, picking up a shoulder injury while playing for Kent in the UK County Championship. The 35-year-old has been ruled out of his side's next match, while the extent of the injury is assessed. He missed the first half of last Australian summer due to an Achilles injury. Tasmania racing driver Alex Peroni has doubled his workload in Europe, joining the Euro Formula circuit days before the season opener. The 22-year-old will debut with new team DriveX in Portugal this weekend. It's in addition to his current deal to drive in the European Le Mans series for Algarve Pro Racing.
Good evening. Strawn and Grove with 24 our best today. Hobart 22, Launceston and Devonport 21 and Burnie 20. Temperatures well above average, particularly over the west and southwest. Flinders Island got to 22, King Island and Bushy Park 21, Low Head and St Helens 20, Friendly Beaches 19 and Lyawini a top of 13. Extensive cloud over the state today. In the 24 hours to 9 a.m, Friendly Beaches received 122 millimetres of rain and Bicheno 93, but today's top fall was just 11 millimetres of grey. Lots of cloud too over Tasmania and the southeast mainland. A cold front has cloud south of WA. Surface convection produced a cloud over the NT in Queensland. High cloud streams across the northwest. Tomorrow a trough will cross the state ahead of another cold front. A high pushes a ridge over South Australia. Winds north-northwesterly 5 to 15 knots over the north and east, but to 30 knots over the west and south. Swells at 2 metres in the west. Strong wind warning, that's from Southeast Cape to Sandy Cape. We have a moderate flood warning for the southeast between Fingal and Llewellyn, a minor flood warning for the St Paul's River. Forecast for Hobart, 24 and a shower developing. 25 the top for Huonville, shower on the way too for Campania, 25 also the maximum. 21 for Launceston, showers increasing. Devonport 19 and 20 for Georgetown, all with wet weather. Burnie, showers increasing, 19 the maximum. 21 for Strawn, showers increasing also for Wynyard, 20 the top. St Helens, a high of 22 with a shower developing, a late shower for Swansea, and 23 the high for Port Arthur. On Saturday, showers as the northwesterlies turn cooler from the southwest. Fine about the east on Sunday, but showers elsewhere more frequent over the north and west. And on Monday, fine about the east and southeast as showers continue elsewhere. Partly cloudy in Perth, a few showers for Adelaide, rain developing in Melbourne, partly cloudy over Sydney, and showers for Brisbane and Cairns, a storm for Darwin. Current conditions, partly cloudy, 18 in Hobart. Launceston, partly cloudy, 17. Same in Devonport, 16 right now. And because you and Garth took up all the time, no chance for a dad joke from me, Kim.
And that's what you call a win-win for everyone, Merv. That's your news for now. We need to get off, so good night, everyone.